Welcome to another deep dive.
It's great to be back.
Now, our listeners, they've sent us on some wild goose chases before,
That they have.
but this time, I think they've really outdone themselves.
Yeah. What'd they send us?
Excerpts from Philip Pullman's The Subtle Knife.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a rich text. Lots to unpack there.
So where do we even begin with this one?
Well, I think the heart of it, for me at least, is Will Parry.
Right. Well,
His whole world just explodes, leaps into this whole other reality. And from what I've seen in these excerpts, he's just thrown in the deep end.
absolutely. We first meet Will, and he's already shouldering like a really heavy load. He's taking care of his mom, right?
Yeah.
And she's not well, clearly, struggling with confusion, anxieties, fears, like pretty intense stuff.
Yeah, you really get the sense that Will has had to grow up way too fast.
And he's like fiercely protective of her too. We see these little glimpses of him interacting with like their neighbor, Mrs. Cooper.
Yeah, Mrs. Cooper
Right.
wants to help, but he's like deflecting.
Totally downplaying everything. Oh, she just needs a bit of help,
It's heartbreaking, really. You can see he's trying to shield her, protect her privacy. But it also just speaks to this deep sense of isolation he must feel. He's dealing with all of this completely on his own.
Alone. And then there's the whole mystery of his father. This like looming absence that hangs over everything.
Right, the missing dad.
Yeah, and we only get these fragmented glimpses through his mother's stories, right?
Yeah.
These like almost mythical tales of a brave explorer. And Will, he clings to these stories.
He does. It's like he's built up this whole idealized image of his dad, this beacon of adventure in this otherwise very, restricted life.
Absolutely. And it feels like maybe subconsciously it's preparing him for what's to come. This yearning for something more, something beyond his everyday reality.
Yeah, like a seed that's been planted, waiting for the right conditions to sprout.
Right. And speaking of seeds, there's this one object, this green leather writing case.
Wow.
It belonged to his mother, her most prized possession.
Full of letters.
Letters, yeah, from his father.
Those precious stories, the ones she reads and rereads, and cries over.
And suddenly these men show up out of nowhere, and they're after that case.
They are. And their desperation, it ramps up the tension immediately. Will's thrown into this dangerous game without any warning.
Yeah, and it all explodes, doesn't it, when Will confronts them.
It does.
He's desperate to protect his mom, to protect that case. And in that moment, he does something shocking.
He does. And it's a turning point, a line crossed. From that moment on, there's no going back to the life he knew before.
Right. He makes this like really calculated decision to put his mom in Mrs. Cooper's care, promises her he'll come back, and then he's on the run.
On the run, desperate to find that case.
He heads to Oxford, trying to disappear.
And it's remarkable, isn't it, the way he navigates all of that. Hitching rides, figuring out bus routes, even hiding out in his cinema, trying to stay one step ahead of whoever's after him.
It shows a resourcefulness, a kind of like street smarts that you wouldn't expect from someone his age.
Exactly.
And then in the middle of all this chaos, he finds it.
Finds what?
This bare patch in the air.
What?
Yeah. He's in this ordinary suburban park, and he sees this like shimmering, almost invisible opening, and he just knows somehow that it's a doorway to somewhere else.
Wow.
It's wild, right? This terror in reality just appearing out of nowhere.
And he goes through.
He does. He doesn't hesitate. He's driven by this desperate hope that whatever's on the other side has to be better than what he's running from. And that's how he ends up in Cittàgazze.
Cittàgazze.
Or Cittàgazze.
Cittàgazze, yeah.
Yeah. It's this place, this world it's beautiful in a way. Palm trees, the vastness of the sea. But it's also eerily quiet, like unsettlingly deserted.
It's interesting, isn't it, that contrast, the visual beauty of the harbor, the architecture, all of that, and then this profound stillness, this absence.
Right, an absence that becomes even more apparent when he runs into Lyra.
Lyra.
Yeah, and she immediately notices something's off about Will.
Oh.
He doesn't have a demon.
Uh-huh. And that's a big deal in her world.
Huge. It's like central to their very being, this visible manifestation of their inner self.
Yeah. And for Will, who's never even heard of such a thing, it must be utterly baffling.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Lyra, she just assumes he must have one, just hidden somehow. She can't even fathom the idea that someone wouldn't have a demon.
Right. Because in her world, it would mean, essentially, being incomplete, like half dead, as she puts it.
Yeah. She casually mentions these windows in the air, like it's just a known thing, which suggests that in her reality, these pathways between worlds, they exist. They're not like everyday occurrences, but they're not unheard of either.
Right. It's like part of their collective understanding of the universe, this idea that other worlds are out there, and sometimes you can find a way to reach them.
Yeah, a stark contrast to Will's complete shock, right?
Absolutely.
But despite all the strangeness, they kind of quickly fall into this practical rhythm.
Oh.
Yeah, they have to, right? They're in this unfamiliar place, potentially dangerous. So they focus on the basics, finding food, shelter.
Makes sense. Two kids just trying to figure things out.
And then they meet Angelica and Paolo, these two like really distinctive kids with this bright red hair. And it's through them that they learn the truly unsettling truth about Cittàgazze. The adults are gone.
Gone.
Because of the
Go backstairs.
Specters. Yeah. These terrifying creatures that literally drain the life out of grown-ups and the kids. They seem to be immune.
Wow. That's a chilling dynamic. This world where adulthood is a death sentence.
It is. And we hear about Tullio, too.
Tullio.
Angelica's older brother. He's in hiding.
But if the kids are immune, why is he hiding?
Right. That's the question, isn't it? It suggests that maybe the immunity isn't absolute. Or maybe there are other dangers lurking in this seemingly safe city. Now, Will, remember, he's still very much aware of the danger he's running from.
Of course.
So when they decide to go back to his Oxford, he insists that Lyra disguises herself.
Smart. He knows they need to blend in, not attract attention.
Right. And for Lyra, going back to Will's Oxford, it's a huge shock. Because it's not her Oxford, Jordan College, the place that's been such a central part of her life. It's not there.
So it's not just a different place, it's a different version of the same place.
Exactly. And for her, it's deeply disorienting. She's lost all her familiar landmarks, all her anchors.
It must feel like she's fallen through the cracks of reality.
And Will, meanwhile, he's realizing that he's still being hunted. These men are still after him. And Lyra's cooperation, it's not just about her safety anymore, it's about his, too.
Their fates are intertwined now. They need each other.
So back in Will's Oxford, Lyra, she's feeling lost, uncertain, so she does what she always does. She consults the alethiometer.
Her truth-telling device.
Right, and this time it gives her a very direct instruction.
What does it say?
You must concern yourself with the boy. Your task is to help him find his father.
Oh.
It completely shifts her focus.
It does. It's like up until this point, her journey has been about her own quest. But now she's being told to prioritize Will and his father.
And there's this added instruction, do not lie to the scholar.
Ooh, that's interesting. A new character, perhaps? Someone they're going to meet?
It certainly seems that way. And speaking of scholars, Lyra's search for information about Will's father leads them to Dr. Malone.
Dr. Malone.
A scholar in Will's Oxford. And she's doing research on these shadow particles, which Lyra immediately recognizes as dust.
So a connection to Lyra's world.
Right. But Dr. Malone, she's a scientist, so she's understandably skeptical of Lyra's claims about other worlds and, demons and all that.
Of course. It's all very out there.
But Lyra, she uses the alethiometer, right?
Right.
And she's able to demonstrate its ability to reveal the truth, even about things connected to Dr. Malone's own research, things that Lyra couldn't possibly know.
So it's like she's presenting proof in a way that Dr. Malone can understand.
Exactly. It's this fascinating intersection of, magic and science, suggesting that maybe they're not so different after all.
Right. Two ways of understanding the same underlying reality.
But the danger from Will's world, it hasn't gone away. Those men who were searching for him, they reappear in Oxford.
Still after him.
Still after him. They even mistake Dr. Malone for Will's mother.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's clear they're desperate and dangerous.
So the threat is escalating.
Absolutely. And Will, he's starting to put the pieces together. He recognizes one of them from the night at his house.
So he's not just a scared kid anymore. He's becoming aware of the danger, the very real stakes.
Right. They need answers. They need to understand what's going on. So Lyra, she turns the alethiometer towards Will's father.
And what happens?
They're led to excerpts from letters written by Will's father, John Parry, from Alaska back in 1985.
So decades ago, before Will was even born.
Right. And in these letters, John Parry, he describes his own discovery.
Discovery?
Of an anomaly, a doorway into the spirit world. And the word he uses.
What word?
Window.
But,
same word Will use.
So it's like this connection between them. across time and space.
And he even writes down the exact coordinates of where he found this window.
Hmm. That's interesting, this sense of precision. Like, it's not just a random occurrence. There's a geography to these things.
Right. And he describes what he saw on the other side, the beauty of it, but also the danger. He mentions the specters.
So the threat that Will and Lyra are facing in Cittàgazze, it's connected to his father's experiences in another world.
Yeah. And then the letters go on to describe how John Parry was forced to stay in that other world for a while. And then eventually he found a way back to Will's world. And here's the truly mind-blowing part.
What's that?
It's in Will's world that he acquired his daemon.
Whoa.
Yeah. It completely changes our understanding of what a demon is, how they come to be. It suggests that your very identity, maybe even your soul, can be shaped by the reality you inhabit. And we learn that he took on a new name, Stanislaus Grumman, became an academic, hid his true origins.
Wow.
And it all ties back to those men who were chasing Will. They weren't just after some random letters. They were after the knowledge that John Parry had uncovered, the secrets of the doorways between worlds.
So Will's not just carrying his own burdens. He's carrying the weight of his father's secrets, too.
And as all of this is happening, in Grumman's world, things are starting to go haywire.
Haywire.
Yeah. Weird stuff. Ice melting too fast, oceans receding, giant squid sightings, strange fog. Like, the natural order is being disrupted.
Sounds like a pretty clear sign that something's seriously out of balance.
And we're introduced to Serafina Pekkala, the Witch Queen.
Ah, Serafina Pekkala. Powerful witch.
Right. And she's on her own mission, searching for her lost demon, trying to find other witches.
So there are others who are aware of what's happening, others who are being affected by these interworld events?
Absolutely. And Mrs. Coulter enters the picture, too.
Ah, Mrs. Coulter. Now she's a force to be reckoned with.
She is, and she's very interested in the alethiometer and a prophecy.
The prophecy.
Yeah. A captured witch reveals it, speaks of a child who will make a very specific choice involving a cloud pine spray.
And we know who that child is, don't we?
We do. It's Lyra.
So she's not just caught up in all of this. She's at the center of it.
Right. And we learn more about Lord Asriel.
Lord Asriel.
Yeah.
The one who tore open the fabric between worlds.
The very same. Serafina Pekkala meets with Dr. Lanselius, and he tells her about Asriel's plans. He's going to wage war against the authority.
Whoa. So this is a cosmic level conflict.
Absolutely. And Lee Scoresby, the aeronaut, he gets drawn into the witches' cause, agrees to join their council.
Lee Scoresby, a good man to have on your side, resourceful, loyal.
And the witches, they're very aware of what's at stake. They talk about the broken universe, the consequences of these open pathways between worlds. And they're worried about Lyra.
They should be. She's in a very precarious position.
Then there's Ruta Scotti, another witch queen. She decides to go after Lord Asriel directly, wants to confront him, figure out what he's up to.
Makes sense. Someone needs to try and understand his motives, maybe influence his actions.
And then we meet Jutta Kamanen, a young witch, and she has a past connection to Stanislaus Grumman.
So a link to Will's father.
Right. And amidst all of this, we hear about this mysterious knife, the subtle knife, and a fight in a tower in Cittàgazze.
So this is where Will's path takes a more, I don't know, a more dangerous turn.
Yeah. Will and Lyra, they encounter Giacomo Paradisi, the bearer of the subtle knife, and a young man who stole it.
So the knife it's a prized possession. People are willing to fight, even kill for it.
And that's exactly what happens. Will ends up fighting the thief on the roof of this tower. It's a brutal fight. He loses 2 fingers.
Oh, wow.
But he gets the knife.
So now he's the bearer.
And the loss of his fingers, that seems to be part of it, like a mark of the bearer.
It's a heavy price to pay, a permanent reminder of the burden he's now carrying.
And right after that, Serafina Pekkala and the witches, they arrive in Cittàgazze, and they help Will heal.
So they're protecting him, taking him under their wing.
But their arrival also causes some problems. Angelica, she's furious.
Why?
She blames Will and Lyra for what happened to her brother, Tullio, thinks they somehow led the Specters to him.
So the tension in Cittàgazze is rising.
And it boils over. The children, they attack Will and Lyra. The witches have to step in and protect them.
Wow. So even in this city of children, there's no real safety.
Meanwhile, in Will's Oxford, Dr. Malone, she's continuing her research, and she meets Sir Charles Latrim.
Sir Charles Latrim.
He's also interested in other worlds, in dust. But his motives, they're not entirely clear.
Sounds like someone who might be playing both sides.
Maybe. And Dr. Malone, she ends up working with him, and this other scholar, Dr. Payne, and the security around her lab, it increases.
So she's under pressure, being monitored.
Yeah. And then she makes a move. She leaves the lab, takes all her research with her.
A bold move. Sounds like she's decided to go rogue.
And while all of this is happening, Lee Scoresby, he finally finds Stanislaus Grumman.
Off?
And in a very moving scene, Grumman reveals his true identity. John Parry, Will's father. He shows Lee the compass that brought him to this world, and he tells his whole story, how he ended up in that other world, his encounter with the Specters, how he got to Lee's world, acquired his demon.
So all the missing pieces are finally falling into place.
And even though he's not well, John Parry knows about Will, knows about the subtle knife, and he has a message for his son.
A message.
He tells Lee to tell Will to bring the knife to Lord Asriel.
Whoa. Okay, so that's Will's mission now.
And just to make things even more, I don't know, intense, these watchers appear, angels.
Angels.
They confirm Will's mission, say they'll guide him.
So it's not just a personal quest anymore. It's something much bigger. A cosmic battle is brewing. And Will, he's right in the middle of it.
You've just taken a deep dive with us into a world on the brink of war. A world where the very fabric of reality is being torn apart. We've seen Will Parry's life turned upside down, his accidental journey into Cittàgazze, his meeting with Lyra, the chilling mystery of the Specters, and the truly mind-blowing revelation about his father.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but there's some really key takeaways here. The connection between Will's discovery of a window and his father's, decades earlier. The idea that in some worlds, demons are a real, visible part of who you are. The fact that there are other worlds out there coexisting alongside our own, and of course this looming war, this conflict that could change everything.
We've seen Will acquire the subtle knife, and we've seen the beginnings of his destiny unfolding. But the question remains, how much of this is fate? How much is choice? Will has been thrust into this extraordinary situation, but ultimately it will be his decisions that shape the outcome. What would you do, listener, if you were in Will's shoes? What choices would you make? We encourage you to keep exploring his dark materials, to delve deeper into the complex themes of identity, free will, and the power of belief.
Because in a world where the impossible becomes possible, the choices we make have never mattered more.
Until next time.
See you then.